September 11th, 2001, that will be a day that many people will never forget in this day of history.
Thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. The pictures of airplanes flying into buildings, fires burning, huge structures collapsing, have filled us with disbelief, terrible sadness, and a quiet, unyielding anger.
That quote came from President George W. Bush in his address to the nation on September 11, 2001, the day the terrorists attacked our nation. President Bush stood poised and stout as he explained to the people of America the horrific events that had occurred that morning. He used many rhetorical strategies to represent his points, including drama, suspense, metaphors, alliteration, personification, and pathos. Towards the beginning of his speech, he stated thousands of lives were suddenly ended by evil, despicable acts of terror. He emphasizes the drama and suspense by using terror at the end of the sentence. President Bush also conveys the importance of the events as he delivers his speech with melancholy yet outraged words. He shows this is a day that will not be forgotten by any. Further in his speech, President Bush uses metaphors and personification to compare different types of foundations.
Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shatter steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve. America was targeted for attack because we're the brightest beacon for freedom and opportunity in the world, and no one will keep that light from shining.
Here he's using metaphor and personification, saying that the terrorists can shake the buildings, can knock them over with strong force, but they cannot shake the American resolve or the foundation of America. By saying that, he's also making it seem like the foundation of America is a live, living being. Common beliefs, practices, and freedoms we as Americans have will not stop and will live on no matter what is done to us by others. Our foundation in America is unbreakable. He wanted people to know that no matter how sad or angry the people were, we will go on and become a stronger nation because of it. Later in his speech, he uses alliteration and determination when he says,
"We will make no distinction between the terrorists who committed these acts and those who harbor them."
He's emphasizing the urgency to the matter at hand and lets everyone know that if you help or hide any terrorists involved in these tragedies, you shall be treated as they are and be brought to justice. He encourages the American people to want to stand up and do something before terror strikes our great nation again. The final rhetorical strategy used by President Bush is pathos, and that I'm going to show you in two different quotes.
"Tonight I ask for your prayers for all those who grieve, for the children whose worlds have been shattered, for all whose sense of safety and security has been threatened. And I pray they will be comforted by a power greater than any of us, spoken through the ages in Psalm 23. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me."
President Bush wanted the people of America to know that they were not alone in this tragedy and believe in a power greater than any of us. The whole country felt the desolation and rage of so many people that day. We have each other and a higher power to lead us and help us through these trying times. The second is when he stated,
"This is a day when all Americans from every walk of life unite in our resolve for justice and peace. America has stood down enemies before, and we will do so this time. None of us will ever forget this day, yet we go forward to defend freedom and all that is good and just in our world."
With this, he was appealing to the American people's emotions, letting them know that their feelings were shared by many and that we would have to be helping each other to get over it. He expressed it didn't matter what your race was, what your religion was, or what your beliefs were. We stood as one, united in our resolve for justice and peace. He stressed if we stood together in unity, we would prevail. In his speech, President Bush was able to get the American people motivated and want justice for the terrorists responsible for these unspeakable and horrific acts. I believe his speech was very emotional and informative. He spoke for almost 5 minutes that night, and although there were less informative speeches before this one and many detailed after, everyone in America sat silent watching the news that night, listening to him in shock and awe. He spoke very clearly, although his words were distraught and infuriated. President Bush did not have a lot of time to prepare such an imperative address to the nation, yet he delivered one of the most memorable speeches in American history. His statements were conveyed with confidence and encouragement for the American people, calling them to action. In conclusion, I found President Bush's address to the nation exceptional and would not change anything about it. His use of drama and suspension, metaphors, alliteration, personification, and pathos made his speech impeccable. He efficiently informed the American people about the events that occurred that morning and accentuated the need for justice. He kept the audience interested the entire speech. His informative speech was also the inspiration for the reorganization of Homeland Defense and brought about the Patriot Act. Thank you all, and hope you have a great night.